What's up, YouTube? What's up, cousins? Welcome back to my vlog channel. If you don't know, my name is Devo2Official, and this is my vlog channel. So, I know I normally come on here and I showcase my life, my story, my journey. However, the episode that you're about to watch is this new series called Carried in Our Bones. I wanted to start this series because I wanted to showcase the stories of our elders. Stories like theirs can be impactful and vital. So, in this series, I will aim to ensure you that it will be no different than the current content that I have. And what I mean by that is that it will be raw, uncut, and unfiltered, 100%. This series will be focused on truth telling, dreams held, regrets carried, and wisdom gained. If you have a grandparent or if you have a parent that is above the age of 50, I would love to showcase their story, tell their journey, and how they got here. If you have a story of someone who has done something, whether they were a well-known pianist or if they were a top doctor or a top nurse or a CPA or whatever, right? If they're a lawyer or anything, let me hear their stories. If they have been on drugs, if they have something like suffer from mental health, I would love to hear their story. Get comfortable, get some snacks, and let's preserve history. This is carried in our bones. I hope you enjoy. Hey, Grandma, I'm at the door.
Say what?
I'm at the door.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay. Hey, Grandma.
Hey. Okay, now maybe I can go put on my hat.
Yeah. Okay, Grandma. Let's get you mic'd up. Try not to wrestle too much.
I won't.
All right. So, first and foremost, Grandma, I
Yeah.
want to say I love you and I appreciate you coming on and telling your story. Stories like yours is very important to tell. So, let's deep dive into history and most importantly, your history.
Right.
Okay?
God is in there, that's for sure. Okay. I was born Lena Mae Wynn in Georgia in December 17th, 1944. Davisboro, Georgia, until I was 9. After that, I didn't live in Georgia anymore.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
The earliest I remember is when I was like 3 years old. And the thing I remember at 3 is somebody was holding me and I was looking down and I don't know what. Until later my sister, older sister, told me that was at my mother's funeral. And one of my aunts was holding me and I was looking down at her, my mama. See, she died when I was 3. Anyway, now that's the earliest I remember. After that, it's really hard to say anything about the remembrance during that time because it was a hard time. By the time I was 5, the only thing I remember about that age is that I was crying, that I had hurt my leg outside, had stuck a stick in my leg, and I still have the scar today. But the main reason I was crying weren't because I had stuck that stick in my leg. it's because my brother, my older brother, had called me to come into the house. I didn't want to go in the house. There was a reason I didn't want to go in. My youngest brother remembered this. He's 2 years younger than I. And he said he remembered me crying and not wanting to go in the house because my older brother was molesting me. So I hated that time. And I don't think he stopped doing that until I was 8, almost 9. And that's the main reason my sister, who was living in Chicago, that's the main reason my dad had asked her to come and get me, because of that situation. And the only reason that stopped is because of my next to the oldest brother. My next to the oldest brother, I thank him to the day I die, because he was 4 years younger than the oldest one. But he told my oldest brother, he found out what was going on. He told he got the gun, rifle or something. I remember, he told him if he touched me again, he'll kill him. He scared my oldest brother so bad that my oldest brother stayed afraid of him until he died. He was so afraid of Curtis, he didn't know what to do. And I'm glad he was scared of him. That's the only thing that saved me during that time. After that time, my sister came from up here in Chicago down south to get me, for me to come live with her and her husband. And after I came to live with them, things was really much better. Had no problems, except my sister was kind of mean. She was kind of mean to me, but that was better than the situation I came from. And I had no problem like that. From then on, I really thought I was a virgin. I thought I was until I got 19. I think it was 18 or 19. I thought I was. I assumed in my heart that nothing had happened before then, and I still was a virgin. I didn't accept the fact that that had happened to me. Anyway, so that's all the living there. And then, like I said, after I came to Chicago, it was different, better. 1954, I was still 9 because it was summertime, and my birthday wasn't gonna come till December. I was 9 and a half, I guess you say. Everything was different to me because it was like in the country. In the country, my brothers and I would go walking through the woods or walking through the fields and stuff like that. I remember my youngest brother, he was kind of fat when he was a baby. He was chubby. So we walked through the mud, it was muddy. And he got stuck in the mud and couldn't get out because he was short, little stubby self. And so my brothers had to help him out. And there were certain things we did when I was growing up like that, when I was little, 8, 9, something like that. We would go walking through the woods a lot. We wasn't going to school. We were just playing hooky almost every day, and our dad didn't know it because he was a single man and he was gone half the time doing his work or whatever, and left us there by ourselves. So, like I said, we would go, instead of going to school, we would play hooky and go out in the woods just doing nothing. You know what? When I came to Chicago, they put me back a couple of years because they said I weren't up to par. You know, I didn't know enough or whatever. So they put me back a couple of years. So instead of being in 3rd or 4th grade, I think they probably put me back to 1st. I was little, so it really didn't matter. I looked like I was 5 or 6 anyway. And but I did pretty good. Made a double, so I made up one of the grades when I was in 5th grade. I made up one. So that didn't leave me too far behind, but I never made up that 2nd grade. But that was about good. I went to grammar school, more than one of them, but the main one I graduated from, that was James Wadsworth. I graduated from there in 1960. Uh-huh. And then I went on to Hyde Park High School. And I didn't graduate from there. I was always doing something I shouldn't do. I should have went ahead and graduated, but I quit. And I don't remember exactly why I quit, except, like I said, I had a pretty hard time with my sister. And I can't exactly describe how it was, but she was kind of hard on me. So I said, out of the frying pan into the fire. But it wasn't just that either. I thought I was doing good. Every move I made in my life, I thought I was advancing, and sometimes I wasn't. Sometimes I was in the same situation or worse. By the time I got 19, I thought I was getting out of a situation with my sister. I decided I was going to get married after I met my future husband. But when I met him, I didn't know how he were. You know, people put on a front. You never know how they are, what they're like, until you really get to know them. And that usually be after you done did what you shouldn't have done in the first place. So after meeting him, everything was fine, and I thought he was all on my side, and the way he defended me with my sister and stuff like that. And I went through a time when I was promiscuous, I just would say. And that's when I was in that club I was telling you about. So, well, I didn't lose my sister until, how old was I? I don't know exactly, because I had all my children, and she was like 59. She was already 18 years older than me. So, I don't know, what year was that? I think that was 1985, somewhere like that, when she died. 1986, one of those. What happened during the time she was sick, you know, like I said, I had gotten married, had all my kids, which is 4. And by the time she got sick, she had cancer. It came back. And she was living here. And I was working, so every time I would come from work, I would come over here. But I was on the bus. I didn't have a car. I would come over here from getting on the bus. Instead of going home, I'd come over here and check on her, see how she was doing. Because her husband at the time, he could not wait on her and stuff. He had one leg. His leg had been amputated, so he could not wait on her. And I would come by and see what she needed doing. My sister, one thing about that, she didn't want you doing what she didn't want you to do. Now, see, I wanted to cook her some dinner, but she didn't want me cooking. I don't know what she wanted me to do, except maybe clean or something. I didn't know what to do. All I could do was ask her, you know. But she told me she did not want me to not clean. She didn't want me cooking or anything and all like that. She was kind of mean during that time. Because if anybody had tried to do anything for me, I'd just say thank you, you know, and let it go. But especially if you're sick and you know you dying, look like to me you'd be a little bit more gracious. But she wasn't. And during that time, too, I remember she was talking to me about certain things, and I told her because she wanted I don't know if she was afraid or what, but I told her, I said, Luella, you have to pray to God, ask the Lord to forgive you for your sins, and just tell him you believe in him. You just got to tell him, you just can't die and don't say nothing. You got to talk to the Lord and ask for forgiveness. So I know I told her that, and I moved over here when she was really sick. So it was like maybe a week before she died. And that was during that time I told her that. And that's the first time I ever seen death on a person. I had never seen it before. It scared the hell out of me. If you ever see that, you'll know what you're seeing. I saw it, Daphne saw it, and I think Kevin saw it. It's a death mask. It looked like a skull bone cross. A death, seen that skull with the crossbone. Boy, it was a face mask, really. It scared me so bad. I did not know that Daphne at the time was like 18 or something. The point of it is, once you see that death on somebody, you don't never forget it. Oh well, anyway, so like I said, about a week later, she died. Because of the trouble we had. I had gotten over that. It wasn't no thing to me no more because I didn't have to live with her. I was on my own back, gone. So it really didn't matter then. So it wasn't no like sense of relief when she died. In a way, I have to say, I don't know which way I was feeling, but I didn't think of it as a sense of release. The only time I felt a sense of release so much is when my brother-in-law died. And I loved Charlie because Charlie was the one who came to get me mainly. It wasn't due to Luella. It was mainly due to him. He wanted to come get a child to be with them in their marriage because Luella used to run around a lot. And he figured if he got a child, she would have to stay in the house a lot. But anyway, like I said, he was very good to me, and I loved him for it. Yep. 1964. That's when I had my first child. But the point of it, that's something too. I don't want to go into all that, how it happened, but that's what you want to know, huh? I tell you the truth. This is not going to work. I met him when I was still in high school. And that's when I say you never know who a person is or what they're like for real, because people put on fronts. They don't be themselves. They put on a front and you think that everything is fine. But you don't know a person until you really get to know a person. And you can't really know a person. It takes time. So my knowing him, I thought I did because, like I said, he defended me with Luella and stuff like that. And he acted like he was on my side about things. But after we got married, that was a different story. Like I said, sometimes you jump out of the skillet into the fire. You be thinking you have a hard time in that skillet, it was hot, but then you jump right out into a fire. He hit me like, okay, it wasn't long after we was married. I mean, we must have just been married probably 2 weeks. And he hit me, I should have known right then to get my ass up and leave, but no, I stayed on there. I guess I was a glutton for punishment. I was the sort of person who needed to be in somebody, subjected to somebody, had been subjected all my life. and I guess couldn't understand not being. But I should have. I should have. I known what I know now, I would have. But woulda, coulda, shoulda ain't helping nothing. But anyway, so like I said, I got married to him in '66, and like I told you about the time I was promiscuous. That was the time when I was in that club I told you about. Well, that club, I tell you, I did some things I wouldn't want to tell nobody. I guess I'm not going to tell nobody. But like I said, I was promiscuous. And that got me in a lot of trouble. But I don't think, it's certain times in your life when you do a lot of stuff you shouldn't do. That was the time when I was 20. I did so much during that time. I guess that was the time I wanted to run around for a while. So I guess I ran around for a while. Got pregnant during that time. That was bad. And then didn't do much better. So I guess it was a period of probably 2 years when I just didn't care or whatever and decided I could live my life the way I wanted to, do whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, because I was grown. And that's what I did. And so after I had my first child, Dwayne, I didn't get married then because just didn't. Nobody wanted to marry me. So anyway, by the time I got pregnant with my second child, Daphne, then that's when Henry decided he wanted to marry me. Okay, fine. We got married. And like I said, it wasn't but a couple of weeks before he was hitting on me. All through my marriage, all through the marriage, he was the fighter of me. Instead of fighting a man, he wanted to fight me. Okay? So I tell any man, if you fight your wife, then you're a fucking coward. That's all I know. You ain't no man, you're a coward. And so, but I started to get a divorce when I was, when Dwayne was 4 and Daphne was 2. I even went as far as going and get a lawyer. And the lawyer, I think, is the one talking me out of it. I was better off with him or something said. I guess that's why I went back to him. It's not good sometimes to listen to your lawyer. Because then, at least I would have been out of there. Yep, sure would have. I should have kept on with my divorce, but I didn't. Went right back to him. I can't even remember what year I got a divorce. I think it was '86. But after I got my divorce, I felt, like I was really free. And then, too, after Luella died, that was a weight off me. Then Charlie died like 3 years after her. And there was another weight lifted because when you're always taking care of somebody or whatever, you're not completely free. But after Charlie died, I guess I was completely free, I thought. And so it was time for me to live, I thought, too. Which, of course, I was going with this guy. He never hit me, never. I wouldn't say that was it. I just wasn't in love with him either. Don't know why I went with him so long, because I didn't like him. Not like that. That's a shame. I didn't like him like that. He was all right, but it wasn't good enough for me for a boyfriend. But why do I do things I don't like? I don't know, but I did, and I wish I never had. But it's too late for wishing now, too. Went with that man like maybe 3 years, probably. But he was married too. We both was married during when we first started going together. That's what it was. Maybe that's why I went with him. Because I was married, he was married. I was, oh, well, we got something in common. but after, like I said, after I moved over here, I, I think I felt a different way about him. I got to see him too often, and things just weren't going right. I didn't want to keep on with the situation. That's what it was. So I finally got rid of him. And the main reason I got rid of him because I started reading and studying the Bible. That's what it was. I started studying the Bible, and I really, really got to know God during that time. And I just wasn't interested in him anymore. You know, I didn't want to be bothered with that man anymore. So I guess that was God, because I just quit going with him. Yeah, I imagine I maybe felt guilty because he was married and I wasn't anymore. I was divorced by now. So that ended because I ended that. And during that time, I was always falling in love with people. Oh, I tell you, I was always getting in trouble. I didn't tell you about trouble when I was like 20, 21. I didn't tell you that. I forgot because I was going through my life and I forgot that part when I was with that club I was with. Yeah, I shouldn't have been in that anyway. We didn't know what we was doing. The two youngest ones, I was one and the other young girl on there, she was the youngest. I was 20 and she was 19. The other two, though, one was 28 and the other one was 30, I think, somewhere like that. But we was all together like that because we used to work at the post office together. That's why we was together. We worked at the post office. So that's the age difference and stuff. And really, in a way, me and this youngest one, probably wouldn't have even been with them if we hadn't been working together, see, because our ages didn't jive. So we was with them because we worked at the same place. And so, the club we used to go to. It was a club called the Glass House. And we used to, well, not really throw a party, but we was like, what you call it, not waitresses. Like if you go to the club and we saying we having this little party, we thought it was us having the party and stuff, and that we would bring the guys in and stuff from the post office and all like that. So the guy who owned the club, he was happy that we was having in his club, but he didn't know they had a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old there that shouldn't have been in there no way. He thought we was like them, the other two. But anyway, while we was doing with that club, that guy who owned the club, he raped me. I never told nobody that, but he raped me. Anyway, that was the first time. And almost the second time when I was with that club, that somebody almost raped me. I'm glad he didn't get a chance because he might have killed me. But it was, what's her name? Yvonne was married, one of the ones in the picture. The short, light-skinned one. She's the one was like 28 and she was married. The dark one, what was her name? Alice? Was like 30. She wasn't married, but she had been around. Now, me and, what the other girl's name? Tammy or something? We didn't know nothing. We didn't know a thing. So We were all going home this night from the club, and somebody, I didn't know the guy. I thought they knew the guy because we all was in the car. I'm thinking everybody knew the guy. But the guy took who home first? Think he took Tammy or whatever her name. She was the skinny, tall, black one. Took her home first. Then, did he? I don't care who he took, but he took all of them home except me. I was the last one in the car, supposed to be, that he was going to take home. But he wasn't taking me home. He was trying to take me over to a hotel. I saw him when he pulled up at that hotel. I said, no, he ain't going to rape me. No, he ain't. And I don't even know if he, like I said, if he had to rape me and kill me or whatever, because wouldn't nobody know. Ain't nobody know that man. They was just in the car. And I wonder why. I'm thinking they knew the man. Why in the world would we all get in this man's car? The rest of them didn't care because they got taken home. Anyway, so when he pulled up over here at that hotel, it wasn't that far from where I lived. So he got out and he was going to, did he get around? No, when he opened the door and got out of the car, I opened the door on my side and I got out running. I ran across the street. If I could show you where it was a long, big, wide street. I ran across that street and across the other before he could get back in that car. And I had ran almost home. I know he got back in the car to try to come catch me, but he couldn't. He couldn't even catch me with that car. I was gone. He had to wait till the light changed or something. But anyway, I got home. I was so thankful. Very thankful that, Lord, that was good. That was good. That worked out. Mm-hmm. Never get in a car with nobody you don't know. And unless you tell somebody you getting in it, don't do it. Unless you tell your parents or whatever, never get in a car with people that you don't know or that you do know, unless you tell your parents. Because it's dangerous. Dangerous. Be aware. Always be aware of your surroundings, like they say, too. That's something a young person should never do. Go to clubs when they're not old enough. There's nothing else I can say about that, is that you shouldn't do that. Oh, yeah, right. To get out of there. Don't stay there. Find somewhere to go. Tell somebody. Always tell somebody what's going on with you and your life. And don't be ashamed of it, because most women are ashamed to tell people, but don't be ashamed. Tell everybody what's happening. Even if you don't have parents, tell your friends what's going on. And if you choose to stay, I'm sure if you talk to them, somebody's going to tell you some good advice, but always be open about things that's happening to you in your life. Always be open. I have to tell these women that. Don't be afraid to tell them and be ashamed of your man beating you or stuff like that. That's what you should tell. That's what I tell them. I wonder. I think all I really wanted to do was get married, have kids, and a family. I imagine I probably wanted that so much is because when I grew up, I didn't have a mama, see, and that affected me. And Luella, she wanted me to know that she wasn't my mama. So I think when a person do not have a mother to guide them, anybody that even wants to be their mother, they need people they can rely on. So that do affect your life. I have a lot of regrets. I wish I could change a whole lot of things, but that's the point. You can't change anything that happen in your life because it's not up to you. It's up to God. So you can't change a thing. You might want to. I know if I could change stuff, I'd go back and change a lot of stuff, but you can't do it. It just be a regret. And I threw all my regret regrets. I threw them all into a bag and gave them to God. So really and truly, I don't have any anymore. I gave them away. Have a goal in life. When you're young and growing up and you think you want to do something, keep that goal in mind. Pray to God for it and continue to go ahead on and make it come to pass. You got to keep trying to do it. You can't give up on it. If you really want something, keep on trying at it. Don't give up. That's what I say. Don't give up.
He touches me, makes me see that I am the ocean